The secret to winning more games in college football 26 is to be in an offense that's capable of lining up the scoreboard every drive with an aerial assault. Luckily for you, in this video, I'm breaking down my complete 4-play Oregon State offensive ebook with the best win-play touchdowns, red zone setups, and money plays. They're going to have you dominating every drive. You're absolutely not going to miss out on any of the plays I have for you in this video, so let's jump right into it. The first thing any great offense needs is a one-play touchdown to open the game up and force the defense back. Let me show you the best one to use right now from this Oregon State playbook. Alright, so this play is motion bench motion bench double post here from the bunch strong nasty formation. Alright, all we want to do, put our slot receiver A on a streak. We're going to put our tight end right here, RB, on a drag. And I would also recommend, especially if you're playing against like a 3-man rush or 3-man front, just using base protection and normally get the job done. You step up in the pocket and you just have that window wide open down the field. As long as you get a better rack animation, you're going to be able to score a walk-in touchdown. Really one of the most unique and hard to stop plays here in this game because of this corner out here. He's going to pull this zone down and outside. This is outside third. He holds him down and outside, and then that just opens up a lane for us to be able to throw our post route over the top for, again, an easy pass lead away from that inside third, right? And so, again, we go through it again where this is going to absolutely annihilate cover 3 defense. You see how the safety is going to be rotating this time from the other side of the field. And I'm also going to show you this play against cover 2 because I don't read defenses. I just call plays, and I know this play can annihilate every defense in the game. So this time we step up in the pocket again, and then we once again have that where that outside third's still going to get pulled down. Even though the safety is rotating to the middle of the field, our streak's going to occupy him, and it's just going to be the same thing. All you really need is time to throw in the pocket. Right here, I see that my offensive line is going to do a great job blocking, so I just stand tall, step up, right, by flicking left stick up, and then I deliver my pass down the field. This wasn't even a free form, just a pass lead away from that defender, and it's just the easiest, window right there. But also, if we put them in cover 2, right? We put them in, let's see, we find a cover 2 defense. What you're going to notice is that people are going to user this mid-read defender, right? They're simply just going to take him off the field and user that guy. The reason why you can now attack their defense is because if there's no mid-read defender on the field, the middle of the field is going to be wide open. So what you're going to notice is corner route, hold that man down, and then I just have my post route for, honestly, sometimes an even easier touchdown than against cover 3 defenses. We look at the instant replay to figure out why this happens, right? There's no mid-read on the field. If they're going to be running cover 2, there's no inside third, there's nothing. And so they're going to, obviously, I'm standing still right here, but they would probably bite down to defend your drag with their user. And so that just opens up this middle of the field portion for us to throw this. You see how this corner out, this time he moves the deep half all the way to the sideline instead of pulling him down, opens up the middle of the field even more for another easy just walk-in touchdown. But the last thing that I'll break down here with this play is it against man coverage, because I did tell you guys earlier, I just call plays. I don't read their defense because I don't need to, right? With this play against man coverage, you have your drag and you have your corner out. So we're going to take the snap, and you're going to notice how that corner out's going to get separation there on the sideline, and that's a really sharp corner out. So he's going to do a great job against man coverage time and time again of actually getting open. So we have our corner out here, easy pass lead towards the sideline. Your drag route also does a great job of creating separation very often. So really, this play, it's a great one-play touchdown against cover 2 and cover 3 defense. Is the most common defenses in the game, but it can also beat man coverage really well. All right, having a one-play touchdown is fantastic, but you're also going to need an unstoppable run play to keep yourself balanced on offense. Let me show you the best one to use right now. All right, so that play is going to be duo here from bunch A strong offset. And something that I want to point out here is if we come into our coaching, our depth chart, you would like to have a running back here that has 90 speed, 90 agility, 90 change of direction, and 90 acceleration, right? As close to 90 as possible. Also having like abilities like 360 sidestep is going to help you out here because this is the best run in the game to actually be able to speed boost out of. What you're just going to notice is you're just going to be able to glide slide basically all over the field when you trigger that speed boost animation, right? So it really doesn't matter the look right here. We see we have a gap, and so we're just able to kind of wiggle through and just run in speed boost. Now, the reason why I say this is the best run to speed boost out of is because the handoff is a little bit delayed, and so it gives you like a little bit more time to actually trigger the move. So take the snap, you see that time I actually mistimed it. I don't think I pressed the button hard enough, and so they come in for, like, if your linemen don't block for you, it like that time I trigger the speed boost, but I have nowhere to run. So it's like this is going to be one of the best runs in the game against a lot of 4-down lineman sets, simply because you're going to get really good blocking. The reason why it's called duo is because the center and the guard are going to double team the defensive tackle. So what you're going to notice is Bigley Jones should be double teamed. Yep, he is. And so that just gives me that lane to be able to run through. It's very important that you actually trigger the speed boost at the correct time, and you time it up well. So boom, and then I trigger it, and so then I'm able to get away from that guy who ends up coming in free. Again, it's a run play, but this is honestly one of the best runs in the game, because even if you don't speed boost, like, you don't really have to speed boost. Sometimes you can actually just pick your gap and run forward. You can go left, you can go right, depending on the look that you have. But right here, I'm obviously going to go right here. Then I'm going to try to speed boost away from that guy and turn that into a big gain. So honestly, the lane opens up and it becomes pretty clear for you where you have to run. All right, then I switch directions, then I try to speed boost. So it's like, don't just get basically speed boost happy. You also want to make sure that you're using like the spin move. And that's just horrible run stick by me. I had the gap wide open off the other side. But make sure you're utilizing the spin move, the juke move, just depending on what type of player you have, right? That time, instead of just speed boosting again, I just run after that guy and spin, because I have 360 on gold. And so really that just means I'm going to basically dumb out that man pretty much every single time. And so it just makes it easy. Again, same thing where it's like, okay, instead of just speed boosting away from him, I can spin. So it's about chaining moves up together, right? Your line blocked for you right here, and so then that time I really didn't even need to speed boost, and I didn't, and I'm still able to pick up good yards. So if you guys have seen some of my gameplays with this Oregon State playbook, you know that this run is a staple to the offense because it's super easy, right? That time probably want to time the spin move up just a little bit earlier and really set that guy up. But you speed boost to get to the level that you want, and then you see how I spin away from that outside corner and turn that into a big gain. So really the speed boost, left trigger, right trigger, left stick, where you want to run, as I talked about all the time before, and you're just going to be able to rip off duo for a lot of big gains when you combine it with other skill moves as well. Alright, so if you're enjoying this breakdown so far of the Oregon State offensive playbook here in CFB 26, make sure you go down below and that subscribe button. I break down offensive tips and tricks just like this every single day, and you don't want to miss out on any of the cons that I have. But if you also want my full Oregon State offensive ebook with the best written breakdowns, videos, screenshots, everything you're going to need to dominate an offense from this playbook, go to the link down below in the pinned comment. You can grab it today by using code YouTube to get 20% off. I guarantee you'll transform your offense, and let's jump right back into the video. Because another thing that every offense needs is a play that they can count on when the game's on the line. You don't want to have to overcomplicate your plays, so let me show you one that's really great. Alright, so we're just going to put them in random defense here. We're going to come into bunch 8 strong offset, and our play here is going to be flood, alright? We call this an everything beater because it's another, kind of like I showed you from motion bench double post to start the video. This is another play that you can call against every single defense in the game and have success. So as the play name kind of gives away here, this is going to be a flood concept, and so really what we're going to do is make sure that our bunch here is on the short side if we can control that. So you could flip your play if you needed to, or you could wait to call it on this hash mark. But we're just going to take the snap. Simple. Put the running back on the in route and make the read. I'm just going to tell you guys, you should never really take sacks with this play because I'm not reading the defense. I'm calling the same type of play. I'm calling the same route concept every time, and I'm forcing their defense to dictate where I'm going with the ball. That's an example of the speed boost right there, because you spin and then you speed boost to get to your next spot. But it's like you're just going through your read progression. Your first read is normally your running back or your underneath route. Your second read is normally your tight end, and then your third read is your backside dig here. But you should never really take sacks. Like, I would be disappointed in myself if I'm taking sacks with this play, because that means that your read progression is just not there. It's super rare for them to actually be able to stop all of these, all 5 of these routes when you put them together from any single defense in the game. Also, you have another option to just take off with your quarterback, but always force them to defend the underneath route, right? Always force them to, put hard flats in the field, because then they're going to start to get impatient, call like cover 3 hard flat like this. You set it up the same way, and now you're going to have your corner out right there, wide open the sideline, possession catch in front of that defender, or you could rack catch it. But the most important thing is also understand that you are sending 5 out. The only time that I guess you could take a sack is if your line just glitches out, right? Which really shouldn't happen when you're using base protection, but you should have the wherewithal to get rid of the ball on time, right? I could have honestly hit my backside dig, but honestly your running back in route is going to be very hard for them to defend, because like if they don't have hard flats on the field, what zone is going to stop that? Right here, I can step up, and I almost took a sack right there, but I knew no one was open, so I ended up just taking off for a few yards. Really, when you have a play, like I could call this up and down the field every single game, right? Right here, I'm just going to hit that underneath pass, spin that guy. Ooh, good tackle, but it's like you can call this play up and down the field, because what defense are they going to run to be able to stop it? It just feels like you're going to have someone open every single play. Right here, just feel the pressure again. Ooh, almost took a sack. We're going to get it right here. We'll go through it one last time. Take the snap right here, step up in the pocket. That's an example where you feel the pressure, no one's really open, and you just take off with your quarterback. So really, bottom line with this play, it's an everything beater. It beats every defense. You go through your read progression. First read is your underneath passes. Then you're looking to your tight end. Then you're looking to your backside dig. And then honestly, if none of that's open, like on that last play, you just end up taking off with your quarterback. But flood a play that can beat every defense, and one you certainly need to add to your offense from this Oregon State playbook. All right, before I jump to that final play that you're absolutely going to need to add to your scheme here from the red zone, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have, because I'm the only one right now breaking down college football 26 tips and tricks every single day. So what are you thinking? Hit that subscribe button, and let's jump right into that final play, which, like I said, is going to be the best red zone play here in the game to make scoring touchdowns on offense super easy. Alright, so we're going to come into trio 4 wide receiver strong. We're going to be calling halfback direct snap right here, alright? So this is honestly pretty similar to the overpowered halfback direct snap that we all know, love, hate, whatever it is, from Y-off trips, because you still have a trip formation. And another great thing about this run, like I showed you earlier from duo, is you can speed boost out of it. Now, I'm going to be honest, you can call this play up and down the field, right? You're always going to be pretty much going forward, like unless they know the gap shoot for direct snap, which I've talked about here on this channel before, but unless they know the gap shoot for direct snap, they're just going to have an easy, you're just going to have an easy lane to run through pretty much every time, and you're always going to be picking up positive yards with this play. Because there's no handoff animation, it's going to be just hard for you to lose yards. All you really need to do is follow your blocks. Sometimes if you get up to the goal line, you could hold right stick up to extend the ball over the goal line. But it's like when you call a play in the red zone, you just don't want to lose yards, because if you can consistently go forward, right, pick up 1 yard, 2 yards, 4 yards, you're just going to be in the end zone before you know it, because you're not backing yourself up. You can call this play at the 10-yard line. You can call this play at the 1-yard line. It's really one of the best goal-to-go situation play calls here, because as you're seeing, you're also able to speed boost, right? Again, like I said, there's no handoff animation. You're getting the ball as fast as possible. And so once you get past the line of scrimmage, you can start holding the right trigger and then tapping left trigger as well to trigger that speed boost animation. And then you're just able to just run through those gaps. So again, like I said, if they don't have this gap shoot for direct snap nailed down really from 3-3 penny or Cub, it's like, I mean, you're just constantly going forward. They're not going to be able to tackle you in the backfield, and you're never going to lose yards. So really, this is the best red zone play. You've seen it time and time again against random defenses. How do you stop direct snap? And if they don't know the gap shoot for it, this is going to be your go-to red zone play to punch the ball in the end zone. All right, so if you enjoyed that complete Oregon State offensive ebook here in CFB 26, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. I give you guys free tips and tricks and ebooks every single day here on CFB 26, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want my full Oregon State offensive ebook with the best written breakdowns, the best video breakdowns, and screenshots to help you understand how to run this playbook at a high level, go to the link down below in the pinned comment. You can grab it today by using code YouTube to get 20% off. I can't wait to help you out on offense, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.